He was like, yeah, I do. The farm's too crowded as it is. I'm sorry. I have to keep this guy. This guy.
Welcome to the Walking Dead cast, a podcast dedicated to the show, The Walking Dead. Hey, Zed, welcome to our podcast. I'm Jason.
And I'm Karen.
This is The Walking Dead cast, episode 55. And we're back on track. It's another episode has premiered. It's the first episode made entirely under the leadership of Glenn Mazzara.
Finally, we're back after that. It seemed like a long time, a big hiatus. So it's nice to be back. Nice to be back. Recording again.
Totally. And it's good to have the show back on. Yeah. So we'll give you this episode, we'll give you our top 5 highlights of this episode that just was on last night. We'll give you some news about The Walking Dead. We'll read some of your thoughts and feedback, and then we'll preview what's coming up next week. So let's start out with our Dead Cast Top 5.
Attention shoppers, it has top 5 in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Okay, it's our top 5 highlights of season 2, episode 8, Nebraska.
Nebraska.
Yeah, and before we start, I wanted to point out in a lot of ways, I think this episode is a turning point in the season for different reasons, like because Glenn Mazzara's first,
Yep.
because Sophia's finally, that plotline is kind of over.
Yeah,
You know, it's
yeah.
the major focus of the season so far.
It's a big thing, yeah.
Yeah.
So overall, what do you think?
I loved it.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, I thought that it started out very typical for the show, which is good, but a lot of the complaints about the show are that it, well, this is actually number 5 show I just started.
Yeah,
okay. Number 5 is that it hits a lot of the same notes over and over again the show does, and that's one of the complaints about the show, and I do wonder, like, it seems like maybe the storytelling potential might be limited in the apocalypse because everything's gone, so you just have the same group of characters,
Yeah.
and then the same beats keep coming up again, like that Carol's upset about Sophia. That was the first thing we saw in this episode, her crying. Herschel wants everyone off the farm. Get off my farm. We know that already.
Right.
Shane is mad at Rick and everyone else for wasting time looking for Sophia and putting people grouping together, letting the walkers stay in the barn. You know, that was an argument with Rick early in this episode. We've seen that already.
Shane and Dale, mad at each
Yes, exactly. So all these points that keep getting, but then I felt like there was kind of a shift, especially as soon as I got to the bar, and hopefully, I mean, Glenn early on in the episode said to Maggie, maybe in some weird way this is for the best, at least now we can move on. And I was like, yeah, totally.
Yep, exactly.
And I think even maybe speaking for the fans there. And so it was a little, like with Carol, it was a little different because in her reaction, I liked the scene where she was sort of saying, okay, Sophia died a long time ago, she wasn't crying herself to sleep every night, she didn't go hungry, it was almost like she was a little relieved.
Yeah.
And it was also, I like that scene because it was sad, and a lot of Sophia stuff has supposed to have been sad, but it didn't really have that emotional weight, like we didn't care as much as we were supposed to, at least I didn't. But in this scene I actually did feel sad for her for some reason, I'm not sure why, but when she started saying, oh, she wasn't out there, you know, crying herself to sleep every night.
It's sad.
It is.
Yeah.
And it's good, it worked.
Right. Yeah, she's a good actress.
That's number 5.
My number 5 is Andrea keeps proving herself to be a badass, and she has one of my favorite moments. In fact, this was a very zombie light episode, and she has one of the few zombie kills of the entire show. Yeah, exactly. She has that what do you call it? The shovel?
Is it a sickle or
some kind of thing like that.
scythe?
Yeah, let's call it a scythe. She comes in and puts it right through the Zed skull. And yeah, that's pretty cool. I watched it a couple times. Whatever. She's good. It's funny. On the Talking Dead, I watched the Talking Dead afterwards. We'll talk about that a little bit. They had a poll. They put a poll and they said, "Who would you want to lead you in the zombie apocalypse?" Now, 4 basic dudes. Rick, Shane, I think Herschel, and maybe
Glenn,
yeah. And I was like, "Come on, Andrea." I kind of want her. I love the scene where they're burying the dead, the zombies, and an arm falls off the pickup truck, and she's very nonchalant about it. She gets the truck to stop. She hops off. She grabs the arm, tosses it back on the heap, jumps back onto the pile of wasted zombies, and continues.
When I saw that scene, I thought at first, oh, that's a little silly, but then I realized it was a bit of a comic relief thing, I think, but it was also yes to point out that they're getting used to this whole thing.
Yes.
Like it wasn't that big a deal to her. Actually, that's my number 4 here. Andrea's talking to us every moment. I did have a little clip of that just so you can kind of hear how nonchalant her reaction is. Here it is.
Cut the arm. Toss it on the pile.
And I also liked how like the arm looked.
Yeah, it's
So,
great.
I wonder how they did that.
Thank you, props.
Yeah.
So
So
your number 4. My
number 4.
number 4 is I was intrigued by the scene of Carol shambling out of the woods. She's all kind of cut up and beat up, and Shane takes care of her, and he kind of carefully washes her arms and her hands. And I'm thinking that he's surreptitiously looking for cuts and maybe even bites.
Oh yeah. I think that would seem better if Andrea would shot her in the ear when she came out.
Yeah, it would have improved it. She took a shot. She got a shot. Yeah, but it's funny. Somebody else pointed out that even though Shane's taking care of Carol, at this point he's kind of so far gone that Shane's only talking about himself.
He is, and he looks kind of wounded to me. She's wounded. But he's like, I think the fact that Sophia was in the barn made it shut him up. You know.
And he couldn't do anything about it. It was Rick
I guess
Rossman
so.
who fixed that.
I guess so. I mean, he was so adamant that this was what needed to happen, and even later he says to Dale that he's bragging about being willing to do that. But it seems kind of almost ashamed or something. And I guess it's because Sophia was there. I don't know.
Right. You know what? I'm getting honest. I'm getting kind of done with the whole Shane way versus Rick way theme. I'm like, oh.
Well, I think it has potential for more depth, and I'm getting into that a little bit later on in my top 5. But that's number 4.
Yes.
Okay, my number 3, 2, and 1 all have to do with the last scene, the bar scene.
Interesting.
Number 3 is just the fact that they introduced two interesting characters, and they had a great scene with them. They made us think that these were going to be regulars at least for a little while, and then they just killed them.
Yeah.
It was almost a shame because especially Dave, that main guy.
Do you know who he is? Do you recognize him?
I thought it was him, and I looked it up to make sure.
And by him, I mean Renee from True
From True
Blood.
Blood, the villain. I thought he was even better in this because in True Blood he just seemed like a purely evil guy, and in this he was a little more gray area to me anyway.
Yeah.
Raymond James' actor.
Oh, he's so good.
He's very good. I mean, even more what made it a shame is I thought he was the best one in that scene.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought he'd be great on the show.
Like,
And then
come on.
he's
Yeah.
But like I always say, I love when they're brave enough to do that. To do something like that means this is such a good show that we can afford to throw away this great actor.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm sure that's everybody was thinking. Well, they do good trouble to get somebody of his caliber. Obviously, they keep him around. No, they do. Yeah, it's so good.
I just love also just that it was misdirection. I like when they fool us like on surprises. I love that it was a saloon scene and a quick draw.
It was totally Wild West, wasn't it? Yeah, it was the Wild West, which is what it's kind of coming down to.
And I have a feeling that even though some people, I mean, it was welcome to have some people come into the scene because we're kind of tired of just seeing the same people all the time. But they said they have friends, and I'm guessing they really did have friends, and they're going to come into it soon.
Yeah.
So,
Did you see previews?
I think I didn't. I think that's why I think that. Yeah.
My number 3 is I keep loving the cinematography. I didn't look on who was the cinematographer for this episode. I wish I had, but I gotta say it's so well shot. In particular, there was an overhead shot as they were burying Sophia. There was an overhead shot, and then it showed, okay, they're done burying, and everybody goes their separate ways. And it's this person goes up here, this person goes over there, down there, and it was just fantastic. I absolutely love that.
It's like, okay, we're all depressed, and we're just going to go ponder this.
Yeah, exactly. People are not feeling connected at this point. Everybody's feeling sort of isolated and probably afraid. I hope that changes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We'll see. Okay. My number 2 favorite thing is just the progression of the bar scene. I thought this was one of the best scenes in the series so far. I loved how when the guys came in the door, there was kind of a moment of, oh, who's that? So there was immediate tension. But then they started to cut it by being nice. Glenn was particularly like, oh, very nice to meet you guys, and kind of casual,
Yeah.
And they were having this chit chat. But then it's, we actually wrote like here are the moments that amp up the tension. First thing was we see Dave's gun on his hip,
Right.
and Rick notices, and he says he got it from a cop, which is sort of like, well, how did you do that?
Oh,
And the cop was dead, and like, well, we trust this guy, I don't know,
Right.
but maybe he's right. And then Dave starts asking questions about where Rick and his crew are based, and kind of hinting around not so subtly that he wants to join them. And just the fact that Rick didn't tell him made it more tension. Like, okay, they're just disconnected, they're not talking directly about it, And so that really, as soon as that started happening, I'm like, I totally focus on the scene.
Right.
And then Dave, even though Rick didn't answer, Dave kept on pressing him for more information, and then he kind of figured out somehow that they were on the farm.
Right.
So then the third thing was that just totally ramped up the tension from there was when Tony, the fat guy, kind of got tired of it and just pissed in the corner.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, now we know this guy isn't the greatest guy. He's disrespecting the area. He's kind of marking his territory.
Yep.
He's all, do you got any clues there? Because I ain't had a piece of ass in weeks.
Yeah,
And
that's
we're
so
well, if that's true, how did you get that? Because you obviously don't respect women. And
Yeah,
it's like,
right.
what's going on? And then Rick says says flat out he won't take them to the farm, and then the fat guy Tony, he says, "This is bullshit. I'll shoot all 3 assholes in the head and take your damn farm." And then the very last thing is when Dave goes behind the bar and sits down on the bar, and Tony cocks his shotgun, and then when Rick says that Dave should go to Nebraska, and that's when Dave goes for his gun.
Right.
But all of that was there was a lot of subtext. I mean, there's one thing sometimes that I fault with the show is people make these speeches saying exactly what's on their mind.
Yeah.
And this was a good scene where things were going on boiling under the surface.
Right,
You know,
right.
I think that's good TV.
Yeah,
when they do that.
yeah, and in a way, I mean, of course, Rick couldn't invite them to Herschel's farm. There's no way. Herschel's already told them. They
Yes.
absolutely he couldn't have done it. But in another way, you know, farm property is not such a thing after the zombie apocalypse. And so they have this farm. It's going to really be such a big deal if more people came. Pretty
Right.
awful. I mean,
Well,
if you go kind of your way, you can definitely see Dave's point of view too. He's been out there,
Yes, and he
he's
said
like,
my people are hurting.
yes, he did. He said, you know, we're going from he had a great quote. We're going from one rats. I can't find my
But he just said we gotta look out for our people too, and he seemed really sincere. And to me, it brings up the same kind of thing that was going on between Shane and Herschel. Herschel saying, you know, I don't think I want you people here, and Shane is like, you know, well, he's ready to take the farm by force.
Right.
And we're actually going on to my number 1 here. But okay, my number 1 is just the moral ramifications of this whole scene. Back when I was going back and forth with people about Shane, whether it was good to have him in the group or not, and Evil Jason was writing to us, he wrote, quote, "I'm sorry, but the law of the land has changed.
Right.
If you have a safe place and refuse to share with me, you're basically sentencing me to death.
Right.
Therefore, I'm going to take your safe place. The old ways are dead. You fight, you do what it takes to survive, and you live one more day. If anything threatens you and yours, you take it out. This is exactly what this guy Dave was doing.
Yep.
He was trying to reason with them. And as
Right.
soon as Rick said, no, you're not coming,
Yeah.
then according to Evil Jason, Dave had every right to try and kill Rick there. You know what I mean? So when the scene, when you know, at first glance, the scene, you think Rick's the good guy because he's the protagonist, we know him, we follow him.
Right.
But from another perspective, he's the bad guy because he's sentencing this guy Dave on his route to death.
Yeah. Also, he shoots him. I mean, are we completely convinced that Dave was going to shoot? He
Yes.
drew his gun.
I am.
You know, they just he was pointing his gun and said,
No.
"Look, take there. He needs to shoot."
Yes, because he went for it really quickly,
Yeah.
and there was no reason for him to do that unless he was going to try to get the one up on him.
Right.
And I think I'm not so sure it was the right thing for Rick to say absolutely not. You can't come to the farm. But in my opinion, it was right once Dave went for his gun like that.
Right.
That Rick killed him in his body too.
Right.
Yeah, and that was, I mean, even given all the moral ambiguity and how I'm saying from a different perspective, there's one, you know, you can debate who's the good guy. I was glad to see Rick do something like that, be a badass.
Well,
You know?
also, I mean, it was shocking. My jaw dropped.
Yes,
I
me too.
I know. And the weird thing is, I'm used to seeing zombies get killed, but it's really shocking to see him. There aren't a lot of humans left. There aren't a lot of non-infected people. These 2 guys make up probably a significant portion of the existing population that's you know alive. And he shot him, and just just bam, bam, and the look on his face was heartbreaking. And Herschel's and Glenn's, oh god, their faces were fantastic. This is my action number 1 too. And it's just there it is. Rick's alternative of his humanity just slipping away.
Yeah,
you know,
I think so too.
he's
Yeah.
slipping further down the rabbit hole.
He is, but I really think that he didn't have much choice in this case. I think this is going to push him farther down.
Right, he's
But the only other thing,
confident.
yeah, if he hadn't done that, I really think he'd just be dead.
I think you're right. I think you're right.
Okay, I'm not so sure. Like, I really think this guy, I think his name's Tony, the fat guy. Yeah, I think he was just a hothead and probably kind of a bad guy, right?
Yeah.
But Dave, I'm not so sure. And it did seem like what really pushed Dave over the edge was when Rick made the comment about them going to Nebraska,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Oh, you're going to disrespect me? I'll just kill you." So
Yeah.
that's not so nice. But to me, that's just a little bit further down the road from where Shane is.
Right,
You know, he's headed in that direction where he kills somebody just for that.
Yep. By the way, what did you think about? I mean, there's a couple interesting things he said. One was before Rick popped him. He said, "Where's the fact that the whole country's in really bad shape?"
Yeah, I
What
was
do
going to ask you about that too. And do you believe that Fort Benning's gone and all that?
He seemed to think that was the case, right?
Well, he could just be a total sociopath liar, but I think it's probably true what he said. I think everything he said was true, actually.
Right. Why we lie?
Yeah. Well, and he even went so far as to say we all had to do things that we're not proud of, whatever it was. You know,
Right.
none of us are clean here.
You know what it's like out
Yeah.
there.
So,
Yeah.
my sense is that everything he said was true.
I have another note. Wait,
let me just look through my notes really quick. Do you mind on this point? Because I wrote a whole bunch down here.
Sure.
And I want to make sure that yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I guess that's it. Just I'm not sure Rick and Herschel had enough information to flatly deny these 2.
Slim Tony.
But yeah, I guess that's all. Okay.
One of our listeners said, "It's Slim Tony." You know, you guys know fat. It's Slim Tony. Actually, that's the character name was Slim Tony.
Well, the guy said Slim over there.
Right.
I got a bunch of notes too. Go ahead.
So,
Did you get all yours, by the way? Did you do number 2?
no, that was good. I'm sneaking
Oh, okay.
and let's just call it a note at this point because it really doesn't sound minor compared to our scene, which was huge. The interesting thing was with character Beth upstairs in the bedroom in a quote unquote catatonic state. I looked at her and I was like, oh, she's been bit.
Oh.
Yeah. She's been bit.
Interesting.
So-
I hope so. Didn't have much to do so far, so.
You know, and then the Talking Dead that comes on afterwards. Dave Navarro was on it from Nirvana.
Yeah,
and,
of course.
And he says,
no, but he's not from Jane's Addiction.
sorry, Jane's Addiction. So he said, great to see someone sitting in bed for another
I know, exactly.
Yeah, and by the way,
That's a good, yeah, I hope you're
by the way, I
right.
have to say, okay, so I don't know if any of our listeners saw the Talking Dead last night. I watched it actually really early this morning, and it was interesting. It had Lemon Zara on it and Dave Navarro, and I'll try to keep the straight. But Dave Navarro basically just was unrelentingly negative. I don't know what other people thought. But
Just on the show.
Oh, he said there's none of them. When he brings on, he said that this was going to be a balls to the wall season
Right.
2, and
What did Glenn Mizar say to that?
like, oh, wait, just wait,
Okay.
just wait.
Yeah, because I think, starting with this bar scene. They have been saying that.
Yeah, and since it was live, there was Chris
Hardwick.
Chris Hardwick going, but you know, there were positive things about it too. Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Because Glenn Mizar, he asked everybody to ask him questions on Twitter after the show, and
Yeah.
he did. And I think he said on there that he was okay with Dave Navarro, but I'm not sure.
That's good because Dave Navarro really did. But did you think how do you feel about the number of zombies?
I thought it was just fine because you need on the show. One of the things I love about it is they punctuate the really exciting action points by they vary the dynamics of the show. So the
Right.
exciting points seem more impactful.
Right.
You know, because if it was all zombies all the time, it would be more like a video game. Or
Yeah, they
something.
have to have
So the last episode had the whole barn scene.
Right.
So if they had another scene just like that in this episode and another one next episode, I would like it. So
Yeah.
I thought it was fine. Plus that, like I said, this last scene had no zombies in it. It was one of my favorite of the whole series.
Couldn't agree
So
more.
I thought it was fine.
But you know what? It's funny. I watched it with my brother David, and both of them were like, "This is ridiculous." Especially my brother, who is quite a community. He said, "Like if you watch The Sopranos, and there were gangsters. There's Carmela and Ryan Cook and Dr. Murphy." He'd be like, "Oh, I was in New Jersey."
But they don't kill somebody in every episode of Sopranos.
No,
There's
they
not violence
don't.
in every episode.
They don't. It's
Sometimes they
all-
go and have the gabagoo.
All about pace. David said they must have blown the entire budget on AMC must have blown the entire budget on Gus Fring's face flying off.
They did have Lori run over that one zombie, and
Yeah.
that's my zombie kill of the week.
Is
Because it's something new, you know.
But then she didn't flip the car on a pile of leaves.
Yeah, they saw how it leaves. It would have been stupid if she died. That would have been really stupid. Okay, do you want to say more notes or should we?
Yeah.
Here, I'll say no.
go ahead.
So Dale says to Lori, I'm telling you, I knew guys like Shane. Sooner or later he's gonna kill somebody else. I wonder if that's foreshadowing. Dun, dun, dun. I really liked when Carl said about Richard and Sophia, he did the right thing shooting her like that. I would have done it too.
Yeah.
He's getting dark.
Yeah, he is. Well, Carl, he's such a good actor.
He is good. I liked when Maggie couldn't accept that. I mean, not Maggie, but Glenn couldn't accept that Maggie really loves somebody who's in the car with Rick. You know, he's like, she's such a lovely boy, it can't be true. And Rick's like, dude, come on, you're a good guy. I mean, a guy like Glenn, who's obviously a stand-up guy, totally worthy of love, but I totally believe that he wouldn't get that right away.
Absolutely. But here's the thing to consider, Glenn. It's the zombie apocalypse. Just enjoy.
Yeah, but I mean, he's
trying to do everything.
yeah, he's been so badass though that I think if Maggie had a chance to be around him in any situation, there's a chance she might go for him. But either way,
He's adorable. And
at this point, he needs to stop doing that though and step up at some point and accept that he's got a babe.
Yes.
And it's interesting to me that Stephen Yeun and Maggie, what's her name?
Lauren
Cohan, on their Twitters, they're like tweeting back and forth. I miss you and all this. Like, what's going on there?
I want to believe that they're couple.
Stephen Yeun spoke to his girlfriend when he was on the show before.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I'm really happy that when Herschel said, when I saw Shane shoot so-and-so in the chest and she kept on going, I realized I've been a fool.
Yeah.
So good. Now you had that
He
realization.
acknowledged that. Yeah, they weren't just sick people waiting to get better. They were just not getting better. Yep.
I know that T-Dog was the first to offer to start digging graves to bury the dead, and he's also later helping Shane throw a bunch of corpses in the pile. So I'd say in this episode, his lazy factor was non-existent.
Didn't he go after old lady Green? I mean, when she rose up to
He went to get her.
Yeah.
Was he effectual? No,
No,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But he tried.
He tries. He does try.
It's very pressureful.
And also, this show has a lot of great digging. And we'll see more of that.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, creativity.
And last thing, Glenn Lazar talked about specifying or speechifying, and that's what I'm going to read from an interview of his later, where he's saying that him and Darabont had the same vision.
Right.
You know, wasn't trying to take the show away, but there's one thing, there's a couple things that he doesn't want to change now that he's in charge, and one of them is that he wants there to be more. Well, from what I took from it is more subtext and less speechifying. I think there was less speechifying in this episode, although Rick did make a big speech to Herschel about how they need to have hope for the people back home.
Yeah, that's okay. That needs to be said.
I guess. Anything else?
That's it.
Okay, there's a listener top 5. Let's take turns reading numbers. Okay, this is from Sage. She says, "Wow, Nebraska was a pretty kick-ass episode. Thought I would share my top 5. Number 5, Maggie sticking up for her family by hitting Shane. She's brave, scrappy, and really wrong on me.
And cute as Bug's ear.
There you
Let's face it. Number 4, Lori being turned down by Daryl and she wanted him to go into town, even though it was a dick move on Daryl's part. It was nice to see Lori realize that everyone is not there to do her bidding. Look out for yourself for change, Lori. Although admittedly, it didn't seem to work out well for her in the end.
Yeah,
God,
and she's going to keep. She's not going to have mascara, did she?
Who knows?
You'd think she would.
There's one freaking thing on the road that you shouldn't hit.
It's right in the middle,
One
at
thing.
least.
Yeah, long stretch of straight,
Yeah.
flat. Just look up for your map.
Watch for zombies. Zombie crossing.
Right, how hard is it? And then after you get it, and you keep going straight. Don't suddenly veer to the right and flip over on a pile of leaves.
Okay, if they make new signs and things, then we'll don't walk signs say shamble, shamble, shamble. Okay.
You know, you have a sign right down your street that has people walking across and it says walkers on it.
I think we said that in another episode.
I pass it every time I love it. And then you
Okay,
too bad.
number 3. We had the same note, don't worry. The tender scene between Shane and Carol when he is washing her arms by the water pump. It's not often we get to see Shane's soft side, and it's nice to know that it still exists. I think it's probably refreshing for Shane as well.
He's talking about his girlfriend. Sorry. Number 2, they're seeing Herschel in the bar and they realize it's similar to Herschel. But they're both just trying to do their best to be strong and look out for other people. But they are both failing miserably and trying not to fall apart over it. Yeah,
Yeah,
they
burden of
both,
leadership.
and they're trying to protect their families. They're real family men.
I think you're right. Yeah, they had a little bonding moment there. Number 1, everything about the scene where Rick shoots the F out of those 2 douchebags. You have weird words. That entire scene was beautifully executed. I agree. At first, it seemed almost friendly, but you feel the tension as soon as the subject of the farm came up. It made me see Herschel in a very different light because if we've been following the plight of these other 2 guys, we would hate Rick and be rooting for them to take over the farm. Talk about an instant transition for the last several episodes. It has been Rick's people and Herschel's people. At the moment these new guys started talking about the farm, the 2 groups became one, and Rick stepped up to take charge.
Yeah,
I
and
noticed that.
Herschel won't forget that.
You don't think? Yeah,
I don't
no,
think
because he didn't like try to step in and say, "My farm, he just let Rick do
Yeah,
it."
Rick's top. He's in charge.
All right, that's it for Big Cast Top 5.
Sweet.
All right, listen. Oh, we didn't rate it. What would you rate it?
I would rate it 4 out of 5 brains.
I would also rate it 4 out of 5. Yaks. Let's move on to some news about The Walking Dead. Last night's episode broke the show's previous viewing record with 8.1 million viewers.
Really?
And when you factor in the encore performance, 10.1.
Wow, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's good. It's getting more and more popular.
Wow, I'm surprised because they had such a long hiatus. And I guess they're they did advertise them coming back.
I think it's going to be better now that Frank is gone.
Yeah.
And Glenn, because he's into the gritty stuff, and yeah, I just think it's going to be better.
I've been impressed by everything I've heard that he said.
Me
So,
too.
yeah, I'm looking
Totally.
forward to next week.
The cover for the next issue of The Walking Dead comic shows a guy with a crossbow.
Oh yeah, check that out.
Draw your own conclusions. What back to me.
Crossbow, eh?
But no crossbow wielders have been in the comic yet, so it seems like Daryl might make his first appearance.
Oh right.
His Kirkman said he's going to write Daryl in the comic.
Did he really?
Yeah, a while back, yeah. But I was like waiting for it, and now finally.
Is that really something that
Yeah, there was a lot of that. Okay, this is a sad one. Original Walking Dead artist Tony Moore, you know the art guy so much, is suing Robert Kirkman.
Aw.
Moore says he was duped into assigning his interest in the material over Kirkman, and that he's received very little compensation and has not been able to see profit statements from Walking Dead and other properties that work on together, which was a stipulation of the contract. He says that he was supposed to be able to see all that. Kirkman says the lawsuit is stupid or ridiculous, and that Tony Moore's been receiving all the royalties he's due over the years. But he didn't say anything about whether he'd shown him any statements or anything like that. Those 2 guys met in high school and they decided to make comics for fun and they turned into a business and they started Walking Dead. I think they maybe had some kind of an argument, and that's why Tony quit The Walking
And
Dead.
Mighty Brown Charlie Adler. Oh
Yeah.
my god, that's so sad.
It is sad. I've had a little bit of contact with Tony Moore because of this podcast, and he's just a really sweet guy. So I don't know.
So it's Charlie Adler and
Kirkman,
Robert Kirkman, all good.
Yeah.
We're good people.
Yeah, hope they work it out. Yeah, and sometimes these things end up working out a lot better than you think. So hopefully this is one of those.
It's always works out well when you see
Well, sometimes I notice like there's a huge conflict, and then when they end up working out, they end up being better than before. I don't know. I guess I'm just hoping that'll
You're sweet
happen.
optimist.
If you have an iPad, you can now get back issues of The Walking Dead in the Apple iBook store.
Oh,
So go
cool.
on there. They have the trade books, which cover I think 6 issues each of the comic, and they're $10 each.
How do you look on iPad?
Pretty good.
Yeah, they're about the right size.
You can even go on there. Every book on the iBook store, you can just get a sample if you want. So it's the first few pages
Yeah.
to see how whether you like reading on there or not. If you do, you can buy the whole thing.
Sweet.
Yeah. AMC's been producing a bunch of different cool interactive experiences for The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
There's this zombie gallery magazine where Greg Nicotero explains, it shows a different zombie, and then he tells how he created it and what he was thinking and stuff like that.
Oh, cool. I haven't seen that.
That's the only one I saw that today.
Nice.
There's this Dead Reckoning adventure game
Which
that
we
we
both
both played. It looks like an animated comic book.
Yeah.
And it was fun. I thought it was fun.
Absolutely. You get to pick choices, options
Yeah.
what you want to do.
You're Shane, and it's before you hook back up with Rick, and so there's zombie man going on, and you have to decide which one to do. And I
Oh,
like
the
several times.
house. Yeah,
Definitely. It's like a addiction. Then there's this Left Behind Facebook app that inserts you into like this creepy Walking Dead short film using photos and information from your profile.
Wow,
Can you try that? Where it turns on
no.
camera and it sees your
No.
face in there.
No,
It's
did you
pretty
do
cool. Yeah, all these are pretty short, so
I gotta do that.
yeah, they're just little.
That's on Facebook?
Yeah, and I'll put links up for all 3 of these on our website, WalkingDead.com. So if you want to check them out, you can find it there in the show notes. We got an email from Greg Nicotero about these limited edition zombie posters that are now available. They have art showing 3 different zombies from season 2: the well zombie, the RV zombie, the skinny RV
Yeah,
zombie,
yeah.
and this other bearded zombie. I think that was one that chasing Rick through the forest. And they're all signed by the artist Annie Miller and Greg Nicotero. And they're limited editions. So I'll put a link for that on our site
Is
too.
that
No, I don't know.
And he wrote to us. He sent
I think send that to my people, not just me, for you.
I think he says you need.
Here, buy this.
He likes it.
Yeah. In an interview on TVequals.com, they asked Ernie Singleton, Sea Dog, Sea Dog is somewhat of an unknown quantity in the sense that we don't know the backstory. Will that change in the coming episodes? He says if he stays alive, then you can count on that.
Stay alive.
So we don't know. In an interview on NCTV.com, they asked Andrew Lincoln, who's Rick, do you know what Dr. Jenner said to Rick at the end of season 1? And did no Emmerich actually say that to you in your ear? He says, yes, he did. They say, have people tried to pressure you into telling them? He says, my wife doesn't even know, man. I take them seriously. You think they drop that or they're going to come back?
You're absolutely gonna come back to
I hope so, because we have to start
that. Yes, we do.
okay, this one's just a tad bit spoilery, but not too bad. So if you hate spoilers, I hope you don't go away because there's a good stuff out of this, but just a little bit. So regarding the cause of the zombie outbreak. So okay, I'll tell you what spoilers are going to be. Glenn Lazar is going to tell you whether or not they know the cause of the zombie outbreak. And that's all. He's not going to tell you what the cause is. Just going to tell you whether or not they know.
That's not very spoiler.
So he says, internally, we don't know where the zombie outbreak started, how to cure it, or anything like that. We haven't really discussed it. We're more interested in the continuing storylines. The show's about our characters and about them trying to stay alive, hold on to their humanity, find a safe place, hopefully rebuild civilization. But even if they did have those answers, what would they do with them? So that's kind of what I suspected. You know, we can go on and on about the science of why
Yeah,
zombies
right.
and why the front load and all that, but I really think that the writers don't care about that too much.
No, by the way, can I just say as a least spoiler reel?
You I don't think you're as sensitive to spoilers as some people are.
But basically saying we don't know.
Right, let's say there's a guy. There are tons of people who speculate. When are they going to say what it is? Right, and now we told them they're not.
You know what? They're not just saying right
They
now.
don't know. They might pull something out of their asses.
It's not very spoilery.
It's a
What
little.
did I say?
Yep, spoilers. Okay, next awesome article in New York Mag interviewing showrunner Glenn Lazar. It's super revealing, and I like it so much that I'm going to read almost all of it, but I don't know if I should read the whole thing. There's just a lot of good stuff in there. It's not a usual puff piece. Yeah, he says, I'm just going to read a few excerpts. So I came over to Walking Dead and we were having a great time, and then things imploded here. Last week on a panel, I described my career. I'm the guy in the hurt locker. I get sent in the suit to try to defuse things. And they asked, but now 6 months after Darabont left with the first Alma Zera episode about to air, can you say you have your own vision for the show? He says, I do. I see it as a horror show, and that just means to me that it needs to be incredibly suspenseful. That suspense could come from interpersonal drama or it could come from the zombie scare of the week. I've really been trying, and you'll see in these next 6 episodes, but even in the season finale, which was the final script that Frank did not touch, I've been trying to amp up the intensity of the show, make it feel less safe, more dangerous, more in your face, taking away any good options from characters. So that's something that he wants to bring to the show. Push people into
Good.
emotional. Yeah, I like that.
Double limits with the first episode.
Yeah, I agree. They say, what do you think of the specific criticisms that the first season was badly written and implausible, while the second was just plain boring? He says, F you. No. He says, number 1, this is the first show I'm working on that anyone really watches or pays attention to, and I've been doing this since 1998. And 2, there's a high level of expectations. If we do a zombie attack in a particular episode, some people criticize us. Well, it's a zombie of the week. If you don't do a zombie of the week, people people say there's no zombies. It's a bullshit show. So in the mid-season premiere, there's only 2 sort of throwaway zombies. The next few episodes are very zombie heavy, but that's what fits with the story. It didn't feel plausible in that first episode.
Right.
The zombie massacre inside the barn, the
Yeah.
zombie massacre an hour later.
Right.
I'd say that's very plausible in the zombie apocalypse, but whatever. He says, I feel the show has been a little insular, a little incestuous, and it's been a very small cast of characters on just a farm that appears to be very safe. I want to widen it. All of a sudden, the outside world starts encroaching on our farm.
Hell yeah. Not in the barn, or the bar.
It's not true. It's only one letter. He says it's not true that Frank had a particular vision of the show that was rejected by ANC, and then I was brought in to create a demonstrably different vision of the show. That's not accurate. They say any other inaccuracies you'd like to throw up. He says there was no budgetary crisis on the show. That's not accurate.
Right.
He says I've been nickel and dimed by studios before. They have not nickel and dimed the show. So this is interesting because he's directly contradicting
Yes, he
what
is.
Frank Darabont
Yeah, I
said.
read this too.
He says they have put money into making the show the best possible show. I don't want to talk about why Frank left, but he's lying. No, I'm just kidding. That's his business, or why he was asked to leave, or whatever you want to say. But the idea that there was a budgetary crisis that was ANC's fault is completely inaccurate. Let's see. Is it true that there was a botched episode at the heart of the season opener because they said there was footage that they were thinking they couldn't use, and that was one reason why they were arguing with Frank?
Really?
Yeah. He says it was not coming together in the way we intended. Some of the storytelling pieces of the arcs. Unfortunately, sometimes you write things and you have to make adjustments if that makes sense. That's true on any show. I won't say if that was issues with Frank, but then it says wink wink. But I'll just say that it was a path that I needed. I'll say it was a path that I needed to address when I came in, and some of the solutions were not really apparent. You did start making changes to the second season scripts, right? Things you disagree with Darabont about. He says there was never any conflict between Frank and me. I want to be very clear. We had a great relationship. But one of the changes that I added after he left was when in the episode before the mid-season finale, Lori admits her affair to Rick. That was something Frank didn't want to do. He wanted that to come out another way. I felt that her back was against the wall during that confession. It's very underwritten, by the way. She just says Shane and I, and he just nods and he says the world went to shit and you thought I was dead, right? And in that right, he's asking, was I a failure? Was this a affair about our marriage, or was it simply the zombie apocalypse? And when she looks at him, she just says, yeah. She's stunned by his emotional honesty and his vulnerability. So yeah, and he says I want to direct the acting between the words, not necessarily about the words.
I loved that scene.
Yes, me too. And I'm so glad to hear him say
Yeah.
And then I immediately in the bar scene was thinking it's the same kind of thing, and
Yeah.
it's making me feel that's one of the reasons why I'm so frustrated about it. Shows I didn't know.
Yeah, exactly. It's just nice and spare. It's not like a gobbledygook.
Yes, yeah. Okay, let's see. So you agree with the critics who complain that the show is moving too slowly? Without a doubt, knowing behind the scenes we're happy about that criticism. What has been surprising about it though is that we're on a network that has Mad Men, Breaking Bad, Killing. These are pretty slow, so I'm surprised that we're getting branded as a slow show, especially since we have zombies series. So there's a lot more of that. Go to just Google Glenn Mazzara NewYorkMag.com or something, and if you want to read more, because it's a great
It was
interview.
really good.
Almost done. He asked people, Glenn Mazzara, to tweet him questions after the show.
Right.
He's just changing his Twitter, so I got a few. They said, I wonder if she asked, the show differs in a lot of ways from the comic book. Will we start to see more of a merge story-wise? He says yes by the end of finale.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. Brother versus Butterfly, who would you think would win, Daryl or Merle? He says Merle only has one hand.
Replaced by a machine.
Next. How far along is Lori supposed to be approximately? She's unsure, but we think about 6 to 8 weeks, I think.
Just skinny girl.
So I don't know if that still makes it ambiguous, I guess so, whether it's Ricks or Chains.
Or Glenn.
That's a new theory.
Sorry out there.
That would be totally lame, but I still love it. If all the people in my neighborhood became zombies, I wouldn't hesitate to put them down hard. I have to wait till then, though, right? He says yes.
No.
No, I noticed a lot of characters getting zombie blood on them. Wouldn't blood exposure be a concern? He says, yeah, we should watch that.
Bloodborne pathogens,
We
people.
talked about that.
Bodily
He's like, yeah, we should watch that.
Love it.
I'm looking forward to next week's episode, and he says it's completely different from any other episode. Hope you like it.
Excellent.
Yay.
All right, get your happy.
And finally, on a sad note, Bill Hinsman, who played the first zombie we see in Night of the Living Dead in the cemetery scene, has died. He was 75, died of cancer. After he was a cameraman on Night of the Living Dead, and Romero pulled him in to play that part, and after that, he worked on a bunch of other horror movies,
Yeah.
directing some stuff.
Last weekend, he died.
Yeah.
Last weekend. He had a nice long life, and I guess he had all kinds of happy notoriety because of that role.
Yeah,
So,
really
good
good
for
life.
him.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
All right, that's it. We'll take a break. There's more to come. Stay with us. You're back. It's time for listener Drones. So we got a few emails on call.
First email is from Patrick. Hey, Jason Karen, I would have to disagree with you on your Alcatraz review. It combines the best of cop procedurals, which are good in their way, and mystery style shows. The first episode was weak, but it's getting stronger as the show goes on. I can't wait to uncover Alan Rickman. Oh, Alan Rickman! I love him, and the word are all about. Yeah, Alan Rickman, love him. He's in a bunch of Jane Austen.
But he's not in Alcatraz.
It's the same way to uncover Alan Rickman and the word are all about. He's in evidently he's a great Patrick. Jason, don't let your irrational anger at the way Lost ended cloud your judgment about the show, dude. Angry irrational man.
Okay, well, let's move on. Oh, by the way, I watched The River. Did you?
No.
It's the show that is produced by Warren Pelly, who did Paranormal Activity.
Oh, was it good?
It's fun. It's a very B movie. It's
Yeah.
got a lot of paranormal activity to it.
Oh, I like
Probably
that.
the most you could have and still be on ABC. You know?
Really?
It's creepy. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the characters are kind of not that well drawn, and the writing isn't the best, but it has its moments for sure. I'd give it a shot if I really had to feel like it. I think it's on Hulu, so yeah, it's pretty interesting. But overall, I don't think I liked it enough to think I'm really get into it because I want to watch shows that I totally love.
Are you
There's so much TV out there.
Are you going to keep watching Alcatraz now that
No way.
Patrick's called you douchebag?
Patrick's calling you call Patrick a douchebag.
Patrick's right.
This is from Chris. Looking like from Rick's actions that everyone might be infected at some point. The first death that happened not by zombies was doing the bars, I remember. And Rick shot the big guy in the head when he was already dead. I think this is quite telling. The theory that everyone's carrying the infection. A walker can kill, but anyone who dies is still infected and will become zombie. He might have a point there. If that is what Jenner told Rick, then he would surely make sure by shooting him in the head again. On the other hand, maybe he's just doing that to be safe because he doesn't know.
That's
So of course anyone would wonder that.
Or what he could say, if there are friends that are looking for these two guys, what he could say is, hey, I thought they were walkers and I popped them in the head.
Yeah, or he could have just been like, I really hate that guy, and then shot him in the face.
I might be better.
I think I like Chris' theory. I think you're right that he knows that, and that's why he did it.
I think he popped in the heads in case friends came to say, hey, there's zombies out there.
I don't think people think that far ahead.
I don't think so. People like these guys. This next one comes from Evan. Thankfully, The Walking Dead has returned. That was one long hiatus. I don't know if it's an attempt to depict a level of stress, loss, or pain, and maybe it's an accurate portrayal of such stress would affect people living in this hell on earth. But I keep thinking the behavior of some characters is just odd. I guess it's grief, and I'm not sure what I think they should do, but something in the dialogue and mannerisms just seems contrived.
I don't know what you're talking about there. It would help if you had given an example, because nothing readily comes to mind that seemed odd or contrived. Does it to you?
I don't know. Since there's never been a zombie apocalypse, no one can say.
But, you know, there's something really bad, like a war or whatever.
Some of it, but I think most of it is beautifully written and well done. In my personal
But maybe if you had a certain example, then
Yes,
oh yeah, you're
Red
right.
Idea was something more concrete. Was the arm falling off the course? Was the arm falling off the course? Comedy, it's such a little. It was a little goofy and maybe it was meant to ease attention. Yeah,
We
probably.
talked about that.
I like actor Michael Raymond James. He was the guy who jumped behind the bar and ended up getting shot by Rick. I'm okay with the show, but was a little bummed because Michael Raymond James has been a pretty solid actor in a few things. And I thought he might have been a nice addition to the group. That was a short-lived thought. Oh well. It was a good episode to get the ball rolling, but I'm ready for Herschel to see the light. Sounds like he actually has. And buckle up for the rest of them to sugar off the pot. They've all fractured mentally for the survival's sake. There's strength in numbers, and they need to get together. Easier said than done, I guess. From Evan. Thanks, Evan.
DDB.
What does DDB mean?
Don't get bit. Okay, so I don't know what he means by for the rest of them to shit or get off the pot.
I think it just means that Herschel says, okay, now please stay.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
my
okay.
take on it.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe well. But it looks like they're gonna not have much time to think.
No, not at all.
Okay, here's a tweet from Mr. Blog. He just said, "Can't wait for this week's episode. It's also Mrs. Blog's birthday. Happy birthday, sweetheart! I got you Walking Dead season 2.5. That was yesterday. Happy birthday, Mrs. Blog."
Happy birthday, Mrs. Blog. That's great. Mr. Blog, you do something sweet for her.
And then last time or the time for that, this guy Jeff from LA called. He said he hadn't seen any good zombie movies, or he wanted us to recommend some for him. And we said Dawn of the Dead, the remake.
Yeah, I also said Shaun of the Dead.
Shaun of the Dead. The main one that we said was Dawn of the Dead. So we went and watched it, and here's what he thought.
Hey guys, this is Seth from Los Angeles calling you back. I really appreciate that. Love that you played my message and also suggestions. I really enjoyed the movie. It was really fun. You know, what about that for sure? 20 days, of course. Dawn of the Dead, 28 weeks. You know, some of those are all great. Those are all great. And this one was really great too. I watched that before that. The original wasn't quite as fun. Of course, I do love the slow zombies. You guys were a little quicker. I did like the Twitchers though. That was fun. You know, the music was really great. Opening song with John Cash and Marley. When the first time I saw playing music version of Don't Worry Be Happy. Behind the elevator and playing music version of All by Myself. I think it was Big G, if I'm not mistaken. All that stuff's on my iPod, so that was really fun to hear. And I love the fact that the guys like, what you doing? He says, well, I saw television. That's fine. And he was one with the people around. So you never notice that these guys are the best in the jam. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The other thing was they did run too fast, but their sounds they weren't zombie-ish. They were more takes. You know what I'm saying? But I loved it. And also, I took another suggestion. Of course, as a zombie, I saw a ball there. I took out a ledge and I went to hit the ball, but my backswing was pretty high, and my arm flew off, which let go of the pitching wedge, lodged into my head. My hand and arm fell down by the ball, started off the tee, and I spent the rest of my days just running around the golf course going, yeah. And that was pretty much the end of that. But good times. Anyways, I can't wait to hear even if I got to go out. Oh man, I've been listening to everything you guys said, so I love it. All right, guys, keep up the good work. I we're here next week.
He listened to all our episodes.
You did?
Yeah, in like a month or something.
Jeff.
I challenge you to do that.
You know what I'm listening to now? All the Breaking Bad cast.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, you're listening to
What do you have to
I just saw the end of season 4 of Breaking Bad, and so now I'm totally going through every single one of your episodes. It's so fun. I love it. What do you think?
I don't know.
Man. By the way, Jeff, thank you. And I have another suggestion for you. Just
Any brilliant 80s movie.
Fido.
Oh, Fido.
British Zom-com.
Daddy Warbucks is where it's at.
Okay,
Okay, let's move on to next week on The Walking Dead.
all right, next week the episode is called Trigger Finger, and the little description that they give is this: trapped, Rick, Herschel, and Glenn fight to survive against new foes, both dead and alive. Shane finds Lori in danger on the road and makes it his mission to bring her back to the farm. Makes it his mission to bring her back to the farm. Who writes this? This is
I like my mission.
or he just brings her back.
He
to the
decides to bring her back to the farm.
Fine, he brings her back to the farm.
We don't know if he's successful. That's his mission.
It's my mission.
Yeah.
It's directed by Billy
My
Hart.
mission to make $1 million.
It's written by David Leslie Johnson, and according to the Nazar, should be a kick-ass episode.
He would say that though.
Yeah, he would. We'll
It sounds good.
We'll just see about that.
Yeah, so I watched the preview. Look, I won't say everything about it. It looked action packed. He says the next few episodes are zombie heavy, so I'm looking forward to it.
And real person heavy. Real annoyed person heavy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right. So
All
we close
right,
out.
let's do it, man.
Okay, that's our show, episode 55. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
We'll be back next week at the same time, Monday, 5 p.m. Pacific, and you can join us live at walkingdeadcast.com/live.
Please join us.
In the meantime, if you'd like to give us a call, you can call us at 650-485-DEAD. That's 650-485-3323.
You can email us at brains@walkingdeadcast.com.
You can check out our website in the comments at walkingdeadcast.com.
We're also on Twitter at Jason Karen and on Facebook at facebook.com/deadcast.
All right, that is really our show.
Thanks for listening.
Don't get bit. Don't get bit.
And push play.
Old McDonald.
You killed living to protect what's yours.
That's right.
Thanks, babies.